Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday morning, and welcome to this educational presentation. Now, today I'd like to talk to you about trading where you can get in and out of winning trades in only 1 to 5 days. Now, the markets have been rather volatile lately. We've been going up, and then today, now we're back down. A lot of traders have been asking me, emailing me questions about, is there a way I can trade where I don't have to really have my money kept overnight a lot in stocks? I'm not sure what's going to be happening now. I don't want to be caught on the wrong side if the market decides to change. And that's very cautious, and that's something you should be considering if you're that type of trader. If you're not someone who wants to be in there for the long haul, if you'd like to get in rather in and out quickly, this is a great strategy for you. The only trouble is most traders don't have an adequate strategy that allows them to do that, or they don't have an exit plan that allows them to get out before the market changes. For example, let's talk about entering first. Someone looking at this example here in DOCsign, would normally say, well, nothing much happening. In fact, we're in a sideways market. You don't want to touch anything here, right? We're basically going sideways. This is where you get whipsawed. But the strategy I'm going to be talking about today actually generated a buy signal in that range. So this is the first thing that you have in your favor, this great edge where everyone else may not see this. This strategy actually generated a nice buy signal. And then this happens. You get a nice 5-day pop where you're actually doing very well. This is the second part where most traders have difficulty because they start getting a little greedy and they start saying, wow, I saw that guy on TV who says this stock has only begun to take off. It's really going to soar. So maybe, I'll hold on to my position. If it just happens to come down a little bit, I'll buy more. So you hold on, and then this happens, all right? Now, your original position has a loss, and if you purchased more, now you're really losing. Well, along with the entry to this strategy I'm going to be sharing with you today, it actually would have also generated an exit right here 4 days later, and you could have captured potentially 54 points and gotten out before the market changed direction. Now, this can easily be calculated. It can easily also be applied on the PTS Primo Charting platform. This is the educational platform that actually teaches you how to trade and is one click away from accessing the entries and the exits right there in front of you. So welcome to this educational presentation. My name is Stephen Primo, President and Founder of Specialist Trading. As I stated in the opening statements, we are first and foremost an educational company. So we're a little bit different from other webinars you may have attended, and that our only sole purpose is simply to educate traders. We don't promise to have strategies that never fail. I mean, I don't know anyone who has a strategy that never fails. We don't promise to tell you what we think the market's going to do. We never tell you what market to buy or what stock to buy or what stock to sell. In fact, we believe that that's a recipe for disaster. The entire industry is based on that, where you just simply buy some system that spits out buy and sell orders, or you go to some trading room or some chat room or turn on TV and listen to what they're saying on TV about what they think of the market. And so you just blindly follow along. Excuse me. This is the way the entire industry has been based on for years. I know when I first started trading some 44 years ago, it was based on the same premise, where you have to follow the so-called experts, and then they'll simply lead you into the right direction where you can be consistent and hopefully retire sooner than later. Well, if this works so well, why do 85% of all traders fail? The answer is because it doesn't work very well. In fact, it really is a recipe for disaster. In my 44 years of trading, the only thing that works is by traders making their own trading decisions. Now, most traders will say, well, Steve, I haven't been trading as long as you. I don't have the education. I didn't go to a business school. I didn't work on the floor like you. I don't have enough experience. So how can I make my own decisions? Well, trust me, I didn't go through any of those things either when I first started trading, all right? So the thing is, you have to be taught the things that have stood the test of time, and this is what we do at Specialist Trading. Pro Trader Strategies and I teamed up roughly about a dozen years ago, and we formulated all these courses and all these techniques and strategies on our platform to educate you so that ultimately you can make your own trading decisions. This, in our opinion, is the only way one can become a consistent trader, by making your own trading decisions. And you'll see that today and how simple it is to apply it on our platform. Now, before we begin, as always, we're first required to share this with you, so please take a moment to view our disclaimer. I'm going to show you a lot of performance results with this strategy and the exit technique, but please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future. Also, please remember that all examples are strictly for educational purposes only. And once again, since we are first and foremost an educational company, another way to get daily education is by simply following us on Twitter. There's our handle there if you'd like to copy it down. I post different information on a daily basis, information on what some of our strategies are based off of and the signals they're generating currently. Also little bits of financial wisdom. So lots of great free educational information on a daily basis. So please feel free to follow us on Twitter. Now remember, as I stated in the opening statements, we are a little bit different from other webinars you may have attended in that our only purpose is simply to educate you. A good educator does not tell you how to trade, he simply teaches you how to trade. So that's our goal as a mentor, as an educator, to teach you how to trade with the specialist edge. This is the same edge I was taught some 44 years ago when I first started trading. I first started trading 44 years ago, straight out of school, didn't have any idea what a stock was, had never traded or invested before in my life, simply walked on as a summer job onto the floor of the stock exchange, Pacific Stock Exchange, and fell in love with it. And I haven't stopped trading ever since. So I've been trading for over 4 decades now, but trust me, in the beginning, I knew how difficult it was. So I'm here to teach you so that we can really shorten your learning curve and get you on that road to consistency, which I know you're all searching for. Now, since this is a classroom, I want you to ask me as many questions as possible, but please wait till the end of class to ask questions. We have a good crowd here today. And as I always say, if we stop at every slide the way so many other webinars do, we'll be here far too long. So I want to show you a lot of actually current examples using this method. So please, if you have a question, please wait till the very end. The only question I will answer is this, and that is this being recorded? Yes, it is. If you have to leave early or if you're having difficulty seeing or hearing me clearly, don't worry. Each and every one of you will be sent a link to this recording. Okay. Once again, we have a good crowd here today. So if you have a question, please wait till the very end of class. All right. With that said, then why don't we begin today's class? Now, remember, as I stated, I started my career on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange. I was basically an assistant, a floor trader assistant, then a specialist assistant for a good, I would say, probably about 5 or 6 years. And then ultimately, I became a specialist for a good 9 or 10 years after that. Specialist is someone who made markets in roughly about 50 or 60 stocks. So if you had to buy or sell a particular stock, you would go up to the floor trader who specialized in making a market in that. I made markets in roughly IBM, US Air, Waste Management, Reynolds Metals, a lot of stocks that are around, some that are around, no longer around. And I traded and made markets through the crash. Now, here's the funny thing. I know a lot of you are saying, well, you know, Steve, this is different for you. You were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. You were able to trade on the floor, so it's a lot easier for you to understand how the markets work. Well, that's not necessarily true, because my first year or two as a specialist, I struggled tremendously. I was probably doing the exact same things that many of you are doing right now. I was, waiting with bated breath for every earnings announcement to come out, because after all, I made markets in roughly about 50 or 60 stocks. So I had to know the earnings of each one, right? I was, we didn't have internet or chat rooms then, but we had newsletters. So I subscribed to all the newsletters with all the trading gurus. I watched TV, looking for all these guys after the market closed, seeing what they were saying, all these so-called traders on TV that knew what was going to happen. And lastly, I waited with bated breath once again for every news announcement, every type of jobless claim, every type of announcement, economic report, because that's what was supposed to help me, right? All of those things I had been taught are the things that are supposed to work. And guess what? Nothing worked. All right, it would work maybe every once or twice. And then every once a while, I would feel really confident that my trading's going on in the right direction. And then I'd give it all back on the next trade, which I'm sure many of you are experiencing right now. It's extremely frustrating. I know what it's like. Very depressing as well, because you're basically not making anything for all your hard work. I was lucky enough to have some mentors who really turned my trading around. They saw how much I was struggling. And these are the things they taught me about successful trading. And they fly in the face of everything that traditional wisdom says. So these are the things we want to instill in all of our students. First of all, in order to be a successful trader, your trading should be non-subjective. That means, sure, you should come in with some insight and some ideas, but two traders, having been taught the correct way, should look at a single chart, regardless of what time frame, regardless of what market, and come up with the same analysis. How many times have you liked a stock or a future or a currency pair and you really love it, and you hear someone on TV or a friend or another trader say, "Oh no, that's terrible. That's going straight down. What are you talking about?" You see, that's not the way trading should be. Trading is really black and white, okay? And we teach you exactly what to look for. So that's a real big component of successful trading, this non-subjectivity. Secondly, trading should be consistent, all right? So what does that mean? Well, most of us try to go for the big home run strategy. I know I did when I first started. I wanted to make these home runs. I wanted to, retire before I was 30 years old and just get out and just be a multimillionaire. And we want that method or that strategy that does all the work for us, that never loses, and that hits these humongous home runs, right? That's what we all dream about, right? That's the only bad thing about that is if there's a strategy or method that's capable of doing that, it's just as easily as capable as losing everything as well. It's just like the phrase, the brighter the sunshine, the darker the shadow. And that's not really trading. What that is gambling. That's a gambler's mindset. And as for professional traders, we never want to be gambling. Because when you gamble, here's what you do. You take out the simplicity and you make things very complicated in how you should trade. Trading should be as simple as possible. If you've ever noticed traders that have been trading for a relatively short time, and I mean 5 to 10 years, which is really a short time, most of their trading plans are extremely complicated. A lot of convoluted logic, a lot of indicators you don't understand what they're based off of, a lot of trading rules you don't understand what they mean. Okay, I can't tell you how many, when I first started out, how many trading systems I purchased which I had no idea what they were based off, and they were extremely complicated, but hey, they were supposed to work, right? They were supposed to hit these home runs. Most of the traders that I know that have stood the test of time, that are not just trading a short time, 5 or 10 years, but are trading 30, 40, 50 years, have extremely simple trading plans. Maybe 3, maybe 4 or 5 rules at most, okay? Maybe 1 indicator at most. Really simple. Those are the guys that don't really follow all the traditional wisdom, the things you've been taught, like earnings, news, going to chat rooms, trading rooms. They simply know what to look for, and then they follow their plan. It's very consistent, a 2-step forward, 1-step back approach. And then lastly, and most importantly, successful trading should make you a part of the process. Going back to what I originally said, we're always taught to listen to someone else and to follow them because, hey, after all, if they're successful, well, I guess if I just follow them and mimic them, I'll be successful too, right? Wrong. That doesn't work. No 2 traders should ever trade alike. You have to be a part of the process where you decide how you're entering, you decide how you're exiting, and you decide how you're placing your stop and protecting your trade. You cannot blindly just follow someone. If that worked, trust me, everyone would be a millionaire because all we'd have to do is follow these guys in chat rooms and trading rooms. But it doesn't work. So you have to do the work yourself. You have to be a part of the process. I always make this correlation. Think of an airline pilot. While you're up in the middle of the air, you hear the airline pilot say over the PA system, "Hey, does anyone know how to land this plane, or would anyone like to tell me what their opinion is, how I should land it?" But traders do this all the time. They're always asking people, what do you think of this stuff? Where do you think I should buy it? Where do you think I should sell it? You see, you're taking yourself out of the game when you do that. You're no different from an airline pilot. You should know everything and study everything so that when you're in the air, you know all the right decisions to make for flying that plane, right? It's the same with trading. You should know and educate yourself with all the different variables for entry, exit, stop, so that you know once you're in the trade, you know exactly how to maneuver the trade. And you shouldn't be listening to anyone else, myself included. We never tell people how to trade. We just provide our students around the world with the information that they can use to make their own decisions. Okay, so when we put all these together, we're talking about a great strategy that we have now that is specifically built for these big moves that can capture oftentimes these nice 1 to 5 day trades. This is strategy number 8. Let me give you some of the highlights of this particular method. Strategy number 8 is a stock-only strategy. Now, sure, we have some students, like I say, we have students around the world in different countries and in the United States, and some of them like to trade on different markets. Some students will say, "Hey, Steve, strategy number 8 works great with Bitcoin," or "I tried it with commodities, it works fine." But it's just been my experience, excuse me, that strategy 8 works the best or gets the best results with stocks, okay? So I would recommend it just using it in the beginning while you're learning how to use this stock, just with stocks only. Now, it's an indicator-based method. There are two types of strategies. Some are pattern-based and some are indicator-based. This falls into the category of indicator-based. Now, this actually uses two indicators, two very common indicators, and the way signals are generated are by looking at the relationship between three things: these two indicators and the current price of the stock. Okay? It's a specific type of formula that goes into determining if a signal should be generated. I'm sorry, this strategy is extremely simple. It only has, I believe, about 3 to 4 rules. So I can't really divulge what the other indicator is and divulge and give you any more kind of ideas than that. All I can tell you is that one of the indicators is the 50-period moving average, which you always talked about before, okay? And the way we use it is if price is above the 50, we're only going to be looking for buy signals that are generated. If price is below the 50, we're looking for sell signals to be generated, okay? So that's one relationship of price. There's a completely different relationship that we look for along with the other indicator. Now, this often shows when a signal is generated the capability to catch these quick moves. So that's what's really good about this. If you like to be in and out of the markets quickly, strategy number 8 is a great method to get involved with. Because it gets in and out quickly oftentimes, it's ideal for option timing. After all, you don't want to be spending a lot of money holding on weeks, months to an option trade where you're seeing the time decay just eating away at the premium. Now, I'm not an option trader, and this is not an option course. And we never tell traders how to trade, so we won't be telling you, well, you need to buy this option or you need to purchase this spread. And once again, that's your decision as the trader. All we do as mentors is simply highlight and teach you how to spot and identify these high probability setup areas. How you enter, if you want to buy the stock, if you want to buy an option, that's entirely up to you. Now, as I said, this works best for stocks, and it works the best, in my opinion, what I've seen through trading this for years, in daily bars and in higher time frames. So if you become a student of mine in strategy number 8 course, I would suggest starting this out with daily bars of stocks and in higher time frames. You can go up to weekly bars, you can go up to even monthly bars, okay? And remember, you can apply any means on how to trade this with actually purchasing the stock or with purchasing options. It's up to you. Now, you can apply it to any direction. I know a lot of traders who say, Steve, I'm mainly a bear trader. Well, that's great because this generates some nice sell signals. Now, I have to tell you, I'm going to show you some examples in a few minutes. There haven't been a lot of sell signals lately because why? Because the market's been going up and most of the stocks are above the 50-period moving average. But once this market does decide to go down, we don't know when that's going to happen, but once it does, or once a stock does go below its 50-period movement, you'll see a lot more sell signals generated as well. Now, as with all of our methods, we always tell our students in the beginning, paper trade first, because there's so much more you can learn from paper trading. Most students, they're just fresh, their eyes light up when they see how powerful these methods are, and they jump in too quickly and they lose money. And then when we check their work, we find that they're implementing the rules entirely wrong. So please, paper trade first if you decide to become a student of the strategy number 8 course. Our edge at specialist trading with all our techniques, all our tips, all our strategies is consistency. Now, I know a lot of you think consistency means, well, that means there's a lot of winners, right? This is great. That's not really what consistency means. The true definition of consistency is an awareness that you will have losses, and that's perfectly okay. But a consistent method is a method that's able to recoup those losses sooner than later. So it's a 2-step forward, 1-step back approach, the 1 step back being losses. That's how you become consistent. The traders I know who've been trading 40, 50 years, they never worry about losses. They say, yeah, I lost today. And they're not worried because they know their methods are so sound, they're so consistent, they'll be able to make it back rather quickly. That's what you want. Consistency equals longevity. That's what will sustain you. Not some fly-by-night method that is based on some gambling type idea that is looking for that big home run. And sure, you'll see those every once in a while, but remember, the brighter the sunshine, the darker the shadow. Those strategies that are based on just capturing home runs mainly can give it all back just as easily. So we don't want to be focused with that. That's almost like throwing your money away. Okay, so let's look at the trading process and how you can apply this strategy. Remember, once again, it's an indicator-based strategy that the concept is based on these two indicators, their relationship to themselves as well as price all together. Now, the only indicator I could divulge is that it does apply the 50-period moving average. But let me show you how you can apply this, especially on our platform, how simple it is. Let's look at this original chart we looked at, okay? DOCU, that's DocuSign. Once again, this is where most traders would look at this and say, well, Steve, that chat room I went to, I mean, he says to stay away from this because the earnings are going to come out and we don't know if they're going to be good or bad. And on top of that, a lot of the institutions don't like this stock. In fact, they're selling it. There's some pressure. That's why we're kind of in this sideways market, because they're selling it at the top there. So I don't really want to do anything. On top of that, that's at some major resistance on a Fibonacci level. Okay. These are the same justifications I used to make some 40 years ago. And if they didn't work then, why do you think they're going to start working now? Every justification I just made was based off of what someone else was telling me or some other type of traditional wisdom that really shows no levels of consistency. Remember, as a mentor, I want to teach you things that work over time, not things that really don't. There's no consistency in these old, worn-out type of methods. What we teach our students is to listen to the market, and that's what this relationship does. And what this relationship did was actually generate a signal where everyone was avoiding this. Now, in the course, we actually teach you what to look for. This is not a black box. But once again, I can't really divulge the rules and give it away. So let me just show you the process. Once you learn the rules, you would look at this and say, hey, I think there's a buy signal here. In order to check your work on our platform, what you would do is go into the green strategy tab right here at the top and click on strategy number 8. Once you click that on, you'll see the drop-down menu. The way to check your work is to click on signal arrows. And you'll see if there's an arrow that appears. If an arrow is displayed where you thought it should be, then you're right. You're properly learning how to identify a buy signal. And as you can see, it's right there. So see, this is your first step in that direction of making your own decisions. You see the concept we have here? We're trying to get you to understand how to make these trade decisions on your own so that you no longer will have to rely on some guy in a chat room, some guy on TV, some blog, some earnings. You can just decide for yourself, but you have to be taught first. All right, so you're learning how to do it. So you say, hey, listen, I don't care what somebody says is a sideways market. I don't care if some guy on TV says that there's some institution selling there. That's a buy signal. All right. Now, here's what we also have on the platform. We have a way to determine exit levels. All right. This is just one. In our course, we have upwards of 7 different ways to exit. This is just one of those exit plans. So what you would do again is click on strategy number 8, click on range extensions right here, and that's range extension exits. And what these do is they actually generate exit levels at specific ranges, all right, 4 altogether. Now, if you're the type of trader that wants to get in and out quickly, usually in maybe a couple of days, you would exit at either this level or the second level. If you want to stay in a little bit longer, you'd exit at level 3 or 4. Here's the thing we always suggest to our students, that you should definitely be out at either these 2 levels, level 3 or 4, because most of the time the trend will change after this. It's not guaranteed. I'm going to show you some examples today where it didn't change and it kept going in the same direction. But over time, you'll see that once you get up to level 3 or 4, that's usually where the trend stops. So this is ideal for getting in and out very quickly, this specific exit plan. So let's see what happened with the trade. Let's say you got in and purchased it, and roughly in 4 days, you could have made 54 points. Not a bad little trade, right? Now, if you're the type of trader that likes to hold on to that conventional wisdom, you may have said to yourself, well, gosh, I don't want to get out now because that guy in that chat room really loves this stock. And on top of that, there's institutions are buying, and there's actually no resistance anywhere for another 25 more points. So I'm going to hold on, and then look what happened. Okay, this is what usually happens to traders. They may have a good trading plan, but they hold on too long, and then look what happens. It's especially true now. The markets were down today before I started this presentation. I don't know what they're doing right now, but the point is, you don't want to be left holding the bag. Oh, yeah, I see they're down roughly about 100 points or so. If you were long yesterday, the market looked fine. And now look at, we're down 100. No one knows if we're going to close down 100, but maybe you lost a lot of your profit that you made yesterday because you're holding on to a stock. This is a great way to get in and out quickly. Now remember, this is not a system. This is just one of the dozens of ways to trade this. As I stated, we have 6 or 7 ways to enter, 6 or 7 ways to exit, and 6 or 7 ways to place your stop or to track the trade if you want to stay in longer. I'm just sharing with you one specific trading plan that you could apply if you're the type of trader that likes to get in and out quickly. And specifically because strategy number 8 is really geared for that. It's really geared for catching these quick pops and then getting out before they dissipate. All right, so let's look at some current strategy number 8 examples. I'm going to go down a list of examples that happened within the last couple of weeks, some in the last couple of days, okay? And you're going to see all of these examples are from live charts on the PTS Primo charting platform. This is the educational platform that actually identifies these 1 to 5 day trade setups, okay? So let's look at this. We're going to start out with EOG. Now, once we look at this chart, we would say to ourselves, okay, well, I learned the rules, I've taken the course, I've asked Steve questions, and I think I know how to spot a signal. I think there's a buy signal here in EOG resources. So you look at the bar and you say to yourself, how do I check my work? Once again, go up to here, strategy number 8, click on signal arrows, and if there's an arrow underneath the bar that you identified, well then you're properly identifying a signal and you're going on to that stage where you can trade for yourself. You understand how to do it all yourself. So there's a buy signal right there, strategy number 8. See how it's highlighted once I put my cursor over the arrow? Okay, so you properly identified it. Now, if you want to use the technique where you get in and out quickly, you're going to use those range extensions. As I stated earlier, you could go up to strategy number 8, tab, click it on, and you'll see the drop-down menu. You'd click on range extension exits. But let me share with you something we've also added that makes it a lot easier to do with any of our strategies. But once you click on and have an arrow, all you have to do is place your cursor over the arrow. It says strategy number 8, double click it, and you'll see this little drop-down menu appear. Click on range extensions, and there they automatically appear. Now, you would have known this information, the exit levels, even prior to entering the trade, okay? You could have entered on the next day, but either way, look what happened. You entered here on the 3rd, which was last week, and in 1, 2, 3, 4 days, you could have made a nice quick 5 points, okay? If you had an option or if you purchased a stock, maybe a couple of hundred shares, that's a nice little trade in the next 4 days, okay? That's how simple it is. That happened the 3rd, which I believe was last Thursday. Let's look at another example in Caterpillar Tractor. The same process applies. Let's say we're looking at this and we say, hey, I think that there's a buy signal that's generated here. You check your work, click on strategy number 8, signal arrow, and yes, you're correct. There is a buy signal arrow there. Double click on strategy number 8, range extension, and now you have a nice little area here to exit. And you could have seen in 2 days with Caterpillar Tractor, you could have made 9 points, all right? Because if you had chosen the last and final exit level, you could have exited here roughly about 183, and look what happened. You see how the trend dissipated after that? Now, that doesn't always happen. I'm going to show you examples in just a few seconds where it didn't happen, but in the beginning, while you're starting out, you don't want to see a nice 9 or 10 point profit turn into a break even or a loss, okay? Let's look at some more examples here. BXP, we're looking at Boston Properties. Here was a buy signal. We applied the 4 levels. Now remember, let's say we're going to be using levels 3 and 4. You want to be absolutely out of the trade either at level 3 or level 4. Now this one did not get all the way up there. It almost reached it, but it got up to level 3. Had you decided to get out of level 3 in BXP, you would have made a nice quick 6 points. And look how the trend changed. This is why we cannot stress enough that if you get up to level 3 or 4 using this specific exit plan, that you should exit the trade or at least protect yourself. As we go over to VLO, okay, now this was on the 1st as well, the 1st being I believe last Tuesday. Buy signals generated. We place our range extension exits here. If you wanted to get out here in 1 day, we could have made a nice, maybe a couple of points or a point or so in VLO. But if we stayed in for level 4, we never would have made it. So level 3 would have been where we're exiting after 5 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we would have exited here. And that's another nice little gain of 6 points or so. Remember, we're only looking to stay in the trade 5 days. Obviously, you can stay in much longer, but we're just using this for a hypothetical type of situation here. Let's look at MTB, okay? Now, MTB was a nice little buy signal here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. In 5 days, the highest we got up was to level 3. So had we exited there in level 3 in M&T Bank Corporation, we would have made a nice 8 points. But then look what happened. And this is the state of play today. So it may even get up to level 5 if you wanted to stay there high, for another day, or level 4, I should say. But still, 8 points in 5 days is not a bad little trade. Let's look at PVH. All right. Here's a good example of how you may want to stay in, or how sometimes we don't even reach level 3. As we can see, we had a nice buy signal here in PVH Corp. If we stayed in the trade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, we would have had to exit roughly at level number 2. And level number 2 would have given us a nice little profit of roughly about 9 points. And so far, here's where we are today on the 9th. Nothing much has happened. We haven't got up to level 3 or level 4 yet. So if you wanted to get out in 5 days, you still would have made a nice 9 points. All right, INTU into it. Here's the buy signal. This was on the 25th. This was just last month, a couple of weeks ago. We apply the 4 exit levels. Now, in 5 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we most likely would have only been able to exit at level 1. All right, that still would have generated 13 points. This is what we mean, though. Sometimes it'll continue going even after 5 days. So it's up to you. All we can say is once you get up to level 3, which it reached today or yesterday, you want to make sure that you are either out of the trade or getting very close to getting out of the trade, protecting your trade. And we show you how to do that in the course as well. Let's look at RL. Okay. RL, Ralph Lauren. Here's the buy signal. Once again, this was last month, a couple of weeks ago. We established the 4 exit levels, which is just as easily as all we'd have to do is double click this and see. We can see the little box up here. Now, if we were in the trade and only wanted to be in for 5 days, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, we would have had to get out at level number 1 in Ralph Lauren, and that would have generated a 6-point gain. But if we wanted to stay in for just a little bit longer, we would have ultimately reached level number 3. And here's today. Perhaps we'll reach level number 4 later on. Let's look at QRVO. Now, this was a buy signal in middle of November, about a month or so ago. Okay. Now, if we stayed in 5 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, most likely we would have had to exit at level 1. So exiting at level 1 gave us a nice 6-point gain. But if we stayed longer, look what happened. We ultimately did reach level number 4, which could have given us a nice, let's see, this is QRVO, a nice 22 points altogether. So what a lot of students like to do is they say, Steve, listen, if I get up to level number 1, I'll start tracking the trade and trailing it, and we teach you how to do this in the course, and trail it until I get to level number 4, and then I'll exit my second portion altogether, all right? There's lots of ways to do this, lots of different ways. Ultimately, we provide you with the different ways to trade it, but you're making the decision as to how you want to do it, not us. This is not a systematic company, meaning that everyone trades the same way. You ever do that? You buy a system, and it tells you exactly where to enter, exactly where to exit, and exactly where to place your stop. I mean, there's thousands of people doing the same thing. And that's why traders lose. No two traders should ever trade alike. This is our core concept at Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategies. Let's look at keys, okay? This is Keysight Technology. Now, this was at the beginning of November. We had a nice buy signal here. Had you been in for 5 days, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, most likely you would have exited at the second level. And in keys, that would have given you a profit of roughly about 8 points. Not bad, but if you wanted to stay in longer, ultimately you could have gotten out and roughly had a 15-point gain. And if you wanted to even stay longer, this is where we even went past level number 4, how we continued going. This is going up into today. All right, let's look at Micron Technology. Another buy signal generated at the beginning of November. We have our initial 4 exit levels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We never got up to level 4. If we would have exited roughly at level 3 then in the first 5 days, that would have given us a nice 7-8 point gain. But if we decided to stay in longer, look at this. We could have held out up until today. We had a good roughly 23-point profit coming into today. I know a lot of students say, well, Steve, how do I, move my stop up? How do I trail the stop? Do you have a trailing stop technique? Yes, we have a couple of them that we teach our students that are in the course. All right, let's look at LRCX, okay? Lam Research Corporation. Once again, beginning of November, a buy signal. You could have easily just gotten out of this in 3 days for a nice 40-point gain. I think I would have gotten out with 40 points in the first 3 days, okay? What if I wanted to stay in? Well, I'd use the trailing stop technique, or one of them that we teach in the course, and you most likely would have still been in coming into today and potentially been able to capture 165 points, potentially. It's up to you, though. Remember, this is like the airline pilot. You know, we don't want you to say, hey, Steve, what do I do? What do you think I should do? Hey, Steve, what would you do? Once again, always imagine that airline pilot. If you're flying, would you want to hear the airline pilot come over the intercom and say, hey, what do you think I should do, you guys, to fly this plane? How do you think I should land it? Why do you think it's any less important to do that with your trading? It's your hard-earned money. You should never ask anyone what they think of the markets, what they think to do in this stock. You should be able to make that own decision. And most students say, well, Steve, I don't have enough trading. I don't have enough experience. Guess what? We provide you with all that information. That's our sole purpose. Let's look at the downside now, okay? Let's look at, now we had to go back a little further in time here because, as I stated, there aren't a lot of sell signals. Let's say you've studied all the rules and you think you see a couple or just one sell signal, all right? How do you check your work? Same process. Go up to strategy number 8, click on signal arrow, and you're right. Right in the bar where you thought there was a sell signal, there is one. So you're properly learning how to validly identify a sell signal. So where do you get out? Well, same process. Now we double click on the arrow. You see the little menu appear. Click on range extension. Click on close. And here are our 4 levels. Now this was in December. This was a couple of months ago or last month. Or this month, I should say. I've already forgotten what month we're in. But as you can see, we've come in down here and we're getting close to, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 days here in letter D, which is Dominion. And so far we have a nice 5-point profit, okay? So you can hold on to that, or if you want to get out the 3rd level, that's completely up to you. Next stock, MMC, Marshall McLennan. Here's another sell here that was in October, okay, because we had to go back a little further. As you can see here, you would have had to get out at level number 3, but had you gone out in MMC, that's a nice 8 points in 3 days. You would have gotten out at the 3rd level. I don't believe we ever got down to the 4th level. As we look at DLR, that's a Digital Realty Trust. Here's a sell signal here. Here are the 4 exit levels. 1, 2, 3, 4. In 2 days, you could have roughly made 10 points just going short and covering down there. And look what happened. Once again, we got to the 4th level and the trend started to change upward. So this is what we mean. Always be out, especially in the beginning, using this specific trading exit plan, either at the 3rd or the 4th level. It's your decision. Lastly, DXCM, Dexcom Incorporated Healthcare stock. This is an amazing setup right here. This happened back in October. As you can see, we have a sell signal right here at the end of October. It automatically generated the 4 exit levels. Look how we got right down here to the 4th level in 4 days. That's a profit of 72 points, okay? Just using this real quick method of being in 5 days or less and then using these exit levels to decide where you want to get out. So do you see how simple this is? We teach you what to look for. This is not a black box system. This is not something where you say, well, I just click on the arrows and blindly follow. No, you know what it's based off of. You know all the different entry plans, you know all the different exit plans, and you know all the different stop placement, and then you decide which one you feel the most comfortable with. That's how you become a consistent trader, not by going to a chat room and seeing what everyone else does and just doing the same thing, or not by listening to some guy on TV and say, well, he likes this stock, he's going to buy it tomorrow, so I guess I'll buy it too. Once again, if those things work so well, the same process I was using some 4 decades ago, then why isn't everyone a multimillionaire? It's because it doesn't work. You have to make your own decisions. You have to know how to fly the plane on your own. You can't ask anyone. Once again, the good news is we provide you with all the things that have stood the test of time, that have shown to work. So we mentor you along so that you can ultimately make your own trading decision. Now, as we go back to the presentation, there's our disclaimer. Remember, we just showed you a lot of information there, but please remember, we cannot in any way guarantee that any of the performance results I just shared with you will be repeated in the future. Now, before we conclude, let's recap what we shared with you today. Remember, we're talking about strategy number 8, stock-only strategy. Sure, you can apply it to other methods, but it works best in stocks, I've seen in my experience. It's an indicator-based method, uses 2 indicators, okay, their relationship to one another along with price. This relationship, when they generate a signal, often generates these signals that have these quick moves, these quick pops. So it's a deal for option timing, all right? But you have to decide on your own how you want to trade it, All right, it's up to you. We do not decide for you if you should buy the stock, if you should sell the stock, if you should buy a call or a put. It's entirely up to you. It works best in daily bars and above. Now, you can apply it to any direction, but please paper trade it first. Our edge is consistency, meaning that there will be losses from time to time. That's okay. But a consistent method is one that has the capability to recoup those losses, often sooner than later. Okay, so ask yourself, do you think this strategy can help your trading starting in 2021? We don't know what 2021 is going to be like. 2020, even though it went straight up, was very difficult for a lot of traders. If you want something that's able to protect you for these quick in and out moves, you don't want to tie up your money for a long time. Do you think this can help you in 2021? Well, if your answer is yes, we have a great discount for all of you attending today. This is only for attendees watching today's webinar. We're going to offer you strategy number 8. That's our complete stock trader strategy number 8 course. Instant access, detailed video instruction, all of the entries, all of the exits, and all the stops for you to choose from. And also we have the add-ons for different platforms if you want to use it on your platform. The complete strategy rules along with educational correspondence. You'll get my personal email address. You can contact me whenever you'd like. This is the stock strategy you can't afford to overlook. Strategy number 8. But on top of that, we have an extra bonus offer for all of you attending today. Remember, you saw how simple it was to apply this by using our platform, the PTS Primo Charting platform. We designed it that way to make trading simple. Well, we're going to throw in a full year, 12 months of the PTS Primo platform for free. So this is included in your purchase of the course. So not only are you getting all the rules yours to keep for life, that you're a member of ours, you're a student of ours, so you have the rules forever, you're also going to get a full year of usage of the platform, okay? Now, you don't just get strategy number 8 with the platform and that's it. You're going to get a lot of other tools and techniques and really great methods to help you elevate your trading as well in 2021. For example, you get our buy sell line feature. This is four separate features telling you the overall trend. You'll also get our top bottom 25% tool. This is a pattern recognition tool that defines the short-term trend. You'll also get a strength of trend tool that I developed with proprietary strategies that really has an uncanny ability to find out whether a trend is running out of steam or not, or if it still has a lot more momentum left in, along with personalized tech support. But here's what I really feel are the best things about having a full year of the platform. That's our signal scanner and the auto-generated exit levels, which I just shared with you, because you won't find them anywhere else. Even if you want to use this on your own platform, let's say you have TradeStation. Well, we'll provide the add-ons for you so that you can see the up and down arrows, but this won't provide you with the exit levels or any of the other things we're sharing with you right here. So let me show you how great this is, all right? Let's say I gave this presentation a couple of weeks ago, all right? You became a student of mine, and you used our scanner, and you scanned the nightly list of stocks for signals, okay, in strategy number 8. And guess what? You came up with, on the 2nd, last week, a buy signal in Caterpillar Tractor. Here's how you would have formulated that. You would have said, okay, here's what we do. Click on strategy number 8, click on range extension exits, and 10 points in 2 days before the trend changed. So we showed you that earlier, but that's how simple it is, okay? You could have scanned for that on the 2nd and jumped right in, either bought the calls or purchased the stock. Remember, this is the strategy you can't afford to overlook. If you're a stock trader, you really need something like this in your trading plan, because if you like to invest and hold things overnight, this is a great way to offset that. If the market gets really volatile and you don't want to be tying up a lot of money, if it's very dangerous, this is a way to get in and out of trades rather quickly. Here's the offer we're going to have for you. Now, normally this course is going to be roughly $4,000. Okay, it's such a popular course right now. We're going to be in 2021 raising the price up to $4,000. But we're going to discount that. In fact, we're going to let you save over $1,000. Attendee discount price is $29.95. Now, it would be much more, including that 1 full year of the platform. We'd actually have to add on a couple of $1,000. But you're going to save on that as well because you're getting that for free. Now, here's the good news about this. If you can't come up with the $29.95, not to worry. We have payment plans for a limited time. If you contact my sister site, Pro Trader Strategies, they'll be able to set up a payment plan with you. So all you'd have to do is come up with a small deposit and have a payment plan for a limited amount of time, and you'd be still up and running as early as today. That's how easy we're making it for you. So don't worry if you can't come up with $29.95. For a small deposit, you can establish a payment plan with ProTrader Strategies. They're in charge of all the tech support with the platform, as well as the discounts and the pricing, and they can do that and establish that with you over the phone today. Remember, as we look at this older chart here in Roku, this was an actual signal that was generated that you could have taken advantage of that gained over 27 points in just 5 days. All right, this is the beauty of strategy number 8. If you want to be in and out quickly, this is the stock strategy you can't afford to overlook. So take advantage of this great offer. Remember, we're discounting it over $1,000 actually, because if you include the platform, you're saving an extra couple of $1,000 right there. That's a full year's usage. You're discounting the price by $1,000, and on top of that, remember, once again, we can't stress enough, you're getting mentors assistance through me. You're getting my personal email address. You can email me whenever you'd like. So here's how to take advantage of this. I would strongly suggest contacting ProTrader Strategies. There's absolutely no obligation. They would be more than happy to answer any questions you have concerning pricing, concerning tech support with the platform, or concerning establishing a payment plan. They can give you an estimate on what you'd have to come up with. There's no obligation. They would be more than happy to work with you. They're very flexible. I would suggest calling them directly at area code 310-598-6677. They have trading consultants manning the phones right now. Once again, there's no obligation. They'd be happy to answer any question you have. Now, that link you see at the very bottom of the page there is the link that will take you to the information and sign-up page. It's not a live link, but I just posted a live link in the chat box. If you go to the chat box on the far right-hand corner, you'll see a live link posted there. You can click that on and we'll directly bring up a browser with the page, okay? Now, I promised you I would leave the last portion of today's presentation for any questions. So if you have questions, go to the question and answer box, type them in, and I would be more than happy to answer them for you, okay? First question, Steve, does this strategy work better in a trending market? That's a good question. It's not so much a trending strategy per se, not to mean that it doesn't work in a trending market, but the way this usually works is because of the relationship with these indicators and price, it's looking for examples when the stock is pretty much coiling and getting ready to explode, a quick up move or a quick down move. Now, whether that is in a trend or not, it really doesn't make any difference. So to answer your question, I have seen strategy number 8, great signals when the market has been going up and it generates a signal and it goes up higher, and conversely on the way down. I've also seen some great strategy number 8 signals where the market's going sideways, like we showed you in the opening chart of DOCU. So I really don't think it really matters, okay? You're going to see signals being generated in trending markets and not trending markets. What the real core concept of strategy number 8 is, it's looking for this type of coiling before a big move or explosion happens, okay? I hope that explains it. Can I run my scan for today, please? No, I'm sorry, I don't have access to that right now. I'm sorry, and it wouldn't be fair because that would be giving you a lot of free examples and wouldn't be fair to the people that have purchased this. Also, it's best, once again, on top of that, the scan is best for, because it works best with intraday, I should say end of day, not intraday, end of day and higher. You would be getting the scan based off of what's happening today at 2 hours before the close. And that doesn't mean those would be valid signals. So you need to take a scan at the end of the day for this. Remember, we have strategies that work in great markets in different time frames, anywhere from a 1-minute chart to a monthly chart. Strategy number 8 seems to get the best results from daily bars and higher. So running a scan right now really wouldn't make any difference anyway, because you have to wait for the end of the day, okay? Next question. When you buy a signal with this strategy, do you also look for the next bar or two as a confirmation? That's a good question. This student is asking, it's a good question. One of our entry plans is called the confirmation method. And without going too much into detail, what it means is you confirm your entry by waiting for the price of the next bar or your entry to be above the signal bar, the bar with the arrow. Now, we always tell our students at the beginning to use this confirmation method because it's very conservative. It's one good way to enter. But if you've been trading for a while and if you have experience, you don't need that. So it's, once again, we're putting out the information. It's up to you to decide. In the beginning, we always suggest it. It's not required, but we always suggest that that's the way you enter. But once you really feel as if you've got this strategy under your belt, you can use any one of our 6 or so different ways to enter. So that's just one way to enter. That's called the confirmation entry. And if you feel comfortable with that, then by all means use that. Now, I use the confirmation method in about 80 to 90% of my trades. Every once in a while, I'll get a feel and I'll say, you know what, this market's too strong. I'm not going to wait for confirmation. I'm just getting in. And so, there's nothing wrong with that either. The main thing that's wrong is when I, have to rely on a certain rule that is the only way to trade. And that just doesn't exist. You're always free to trade however you'd like, okay? Good question, though. Great question. Someone's asking about the add-ons. Yes, you can add this on. In other words, by add-on, we will give you the key to use this for, you can have the up and down arrows for different platforms. The main platforms are TradeStation, Metastock, MT4, Sierra Charts, NinjaTrader, even, I believe, Thinkorswim. But there's a few alterations you have to make with that. But they'll explain that more in detail at ProTrader Strategy, since they're in charge of all the platform usage and all of the tech support. But remember, excuse me, with using this with other platforms, you're not going to be able to scan for it on a nightly basis. You're not going to get the different exits. Also, you're not going to get all those different features that are also offered on our platform. I only went through a few features. There are still numbers of features that I've accumulated in 44 years of trading that you won't find anywhere else. You'll only find them on our platform. So the 12 months of the platform is really worth its weight in gold. I would really suggest using that. And if you want to trade on the other platform, you simply get the signal on the PTS Primo charting platform, and then toggle all over to your entry platform and just enter your orders through that. That's what most of our students do. Okay. Okay, good questions. Any more? I guess that's it. Remember, if you have any more questions once we've concluded, or if you have questions concerning pricing or discounts or setting up a payment plan, please do not hesitate to contact ProTrader Strategies. Once again, I would really suggest calling them right now at 310-598-6677. Trading consultants are manning the phones right now. They would be more than happy to give you an estimate. No obligation at all. They're not going to sell you anything. You can decide for yourself. But make the decision quickly, because the price is going up next year and you'll lose that great, great discount that they're offering right now, along with the 12 months, the full year of the platform, okay? Okay, as we conclude, I just want to thank you for taking time out of your Wednesday. And as we look one last time at our disclaimer, I really hope you learned something. I hope you saw our insight into really trying to educate you as traders so that ultimately you can be in charge of your own trading destiny for the first time. That's our only goal. That's our only purpose at Specialist Trading, simply to educate you as a trader. And I'd love to do that as your mentor, as your teacher. So please take advantage of this great offer, and I look forward to seeing you all in the Strategy Number 8 course. Thank you so much for attending. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.